Howdy folks, I'm Neurotic Northern Pearly Eye, neatly neatening new napkins.
I'm Amber.
And here are new napkins for us to neaten up. I guess we're like an origami napkin butterfly where we fold them into fancy swans and stuff like that.
Could be, could be.
Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Asking My Mother-in-Law to Stop Rearranging My House? So my mother-in-law comes over every Saturday for dinner, which is whatever, but she started rearranging all my stuff while I'm cooking, and it's really driving me up a wall. It started out small, and she would move, say, the salt and pepper to where she thought would be a better spot, or mess with how I had my coffee mugs arranged. I didn't say anything because complaining about it seemed pretty petty. But then last month, she completely reorganized my spice cabinet while I was making dinner. She told me that my system didn't make sense and alphabetical was obviously better. It took me forever to find anything after that because I had my own way of organizing things. Well, 2 weeks ago, she folded all my laundry that was on the couch. Sounds nice, right? Wrong. She put everything in completely wrong spots. My husband's work shirts ended up in my drawer, mixing up all the kids' clothes, and somehow my underwear ended up with the kitchen towels. Well, this past Saturday, I come out of the kitchen and I find her reorganizing my bookshelf and throwing away what she called old magazines. Except they weren't magazines, they were my recipe cards in magazine holders, and some of them were handwritten ones from my grandmother who passed away. I asked her to please stop moving things around and explained about the recipe cards. She got all defensive, saying that she was just trying to help and my house needed organization. My husband sided with her and said that I should appreciate that she cares enough to help clean. Now she won't talk to me, and my husband thinks that I was rude for not being grateful. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. This is not, she's being downright malicious here. She knows exactly what she's doing. Your underwear does not get in the towel drawer by accident. Old, recipe cards in magazine holders do not look like old magazines. This is 100%, she is doing this for her own reasons, whatever reasons they are. And you have a major husband problem here. I cannot believe he would side with his mom when she is very clearly being malicious. Like, even if it was somehow accidental, he still should have been like, Mom, this is our house, this is our space, we can decorate it how we wish.
I mean, I wouldn't go as far as say it's malicious. I mean, I don't know that that's the case or not. I mean, it could be malicious, but it could also just be that she wants everything done her way, and she kind of just views things as like, she's not very careful at looking at things and stuff like that. And I mean, certainly like underwear, it could have stuck to a towel or something like that and just gotten in there. And I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I guess it depends on whether it's a single pair, but it sounds like all of Opie's underwear was with the towels.
I mean, if that's the case, I was kind of reading it as like a single pair, but if it was all of her underwear, then maybe that's malicious at that point in time. Or it was just an accident and she just got confused when she was putting things away. I think, though, regardless of whether it was malicious or an accident, you're absolutely right that her husband needs to be standing up against this behavior, because this is OP's and their husband's house, not their mother's or their mother-in-law's. And there needs to be a line that's drawn that says, like, we appreciate your help, we appreciate you taking time to clean and organize things, but if you're not sure where things go, ask us and we'll help you put them away. It's really not that hard to learn how somebody wants their house organized, and I mean, her doing this and rearranging things is rude, right? Despite the fact that it's somewhat helpful, it's not helpful if you can't find things. It's not helpful if you can't locate your underwear, or you can't locate a certain spice or something like that, right?
It isn't helpful at all, because this isn't how OP organizes things. Like, the best organization system is whatever system works for you.
Yeah.
It's not like mother-in-law is in here, wearing their clothes every day and cooking their meals every day and reading from their bookshelves every day. The people who it matters how it's organized are OP and her husband.
Mm-hmm. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Lorian Faye says, not the jerk, and next time she comes over, start rearranging her purse. When she objects, say you're just trying to help her be more organized. And Opie replies, this actually is genius, and I wish I had the guts to do it. And Atlanta Dave 998 says, not the jerk, she's a guest in your home, and she should not be rearranging anything without your explicit permission. And Big Journalist 5595 says, explain it to her in just these terms. And Fallen Flower says, not the jerk, your mother-in-law is overstepping by constantly rearranging your home, and your husband should be backing you up, not her. Setting boundaries isn't rude, it's necessary. And Saving Breath 9118 says, you have a husband problem, not really a mother-in-law problem. And LA Born Lady says, both for sure. And Eastern Condition 863 says, not the jerk, mopping the floors, sure. Throwing out your personal belongings and putting things away where you can't find them is not help, it's a hindrance. And when she stands up, just hand her a rag and tell her that the windows need washing if she's sincere about helping. And Tough Ad 7338 says, toilet brush. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my mother-in-law that I'm not her maid in my own home? Every time she visits, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. She doesn't knock, she just shows up, and the second that she's inside, she acts like she owns the place. She sits on the couch, she kicks off her shoes, and she waits. Like, waits for me to get her water, make her tea, warm up her food, fluff her pillows. I wish I was joking. I wouldn't even mind doing little things if she was kind. But she talks to me like I'm her unpaid help. Can you not burn the rice this time? Or wipe that table, it's sticky. One time, I literally watched her throw her tissue on the floor and say, oh, you'll pick that up, right? The worst part is my husband won't say anything. He just sits there scrolling on his phone or nodding along to her complaints. Once he told me, she's old, just let her be. I'm 23, not a doormat. So last weekend I had enough. She called from the living room and asked if I could bring her a glass of juice. And I said, you know where the fridge is. She looked shocked, like genuinely offended. Then she went off and said that I was disrespectful, lazy, and ungrateful. I told her straight up that I'm not your maid and definitely not in my own house. She packed her bag and she left that night. My husband has been cold to me ever since, and he said that I could have just gotten over it for a few more hours. But I've been dealing with this for months. Now the whole family is acting like I cursed her out or slammed the door in her face. I didn't, I just finally said no. I feel torn, like maybe I should have just kept quiet one more time. But at the same time, why is it always on me to keep the peace? So yeah, am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk, and you have a major husband problem. Why isn't your husband fetching things for mommy dearest if that's so important?
Yeah.
Like, she's his mom. If he wants to wait on her hand and foot, that's his prerogative.
Yeah.
But it's not fair for him to be like, oh, OP, you should have just done this to keep the peace. Like, first of all, there's never going to be an end. She's very clearly established that when she's at your house, she expects you to wait on her hand and foot. And the only way to stop her is to stop doing this for her. And the fact that your husband doesn't have your back on this is deeply concerning, and I would reevaluate the relationship.
Well, I have a lot of questions here. She went off on OP and said that OP was disrespectful, lazy, and ungrateful. Well, one, we know she's not lazy because OP has been doing this for them forever, right? And so that doesn't make OP lazy. It makes mother-in-law lazy. This is like, these accusations sound like confessions in a lot of ways, right? I mean, sounds like she's confessing to all of her deficiencies while trying to frame these as OP's deficiencies. Disrespectful? This is very disrespectful to treat someone like a maid in their own house.
Yes,
right?
well, it's very clear she has zero respect for OP whatsoever.
Yeah, and ungrateful? I mean, she's never said thank you to OP once and acts like, and continues to boss OP around. If anyone sounds ungrateful, it sounds like the mother-in-law.
Well,
right?
that's why my question was going to be, what does OP have to be grateful for? Like, being bossed around is not something that you are generally grateful for.
Unless this woman is like floating them financially and has paid off every single bill of theirs, and they are living like a life of retirement and relaxation, and this is all she expects is to be treated like this, even though I think this is still too far, right? Because
like if they had that kind of finances, then they would presumably hire help to do things for them.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, I don't think that this is the case. If they're not deeply indebted to mother-in-law hasn't saved their lives multiple times or something like that. I don't know. I think that this is just a little far. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Flo Mojo Blow says, you have a husband problem. The issue starts with her just showing up. Why are you letting her in? You need to tell her under no certain terms that all visits will be prearranged, and that if she just shows up, you may or may not be home. Then list out all the stuff that she does and bluntly tell her that she needs to be respectful of you when she visits. No comments, no asking you to do things that she's capable of doing herself. And finally, you and your husband need couples counseling to help come out of the fog. And OP replies, thank you, this really puts things into perspective. You're right, we need clear boundaries, and my husband and I definitely have things to work on together. And Dull Boysenberry 944 says, definitely not the jerk. Exactly like you said. You're not her maid. If you keep quiet this time, nothing would have changed. It would have gone on for who knows how long. Looks like she doesn't respect you. Respect is earned and not given. And OP replies, I'm not here to serve anyone in my own home. If she can't treat me with respect, she's not getting silence in return. And Clean Permit 3791 says, not the jerk, and let the husband follow her at the door. How dare she disrespect you like that? If she wants to order someone around, it should be her own kid. Maybe have your mom come over and do that to him and see how he likes it. I like that idea.
Yeah.
And Villa Lori says, for real, for real. People forget that being a guest doesn't mean you get to act like royalty. Mother-in-law acting like she owns the place and your husband just letting it happen? Nah, boundaries were overdue and OP did what needed to be done. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for telling my soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law that she's the one who taught her son that he could cheat and think that he would get away with it? Well, about 3 weeks ago, I found out that my husband had been cheating on me. The day that I found out, I packed bags for me and the kids and I left. I didn't confront him about the cheating. I just let him know that our marriage was over, but I hope to work with him on an amicable divorce and custody arrangements. Of course, he did all the cliche, begging, crying, swearing that he would change, and it was a mistake, and it meant nothing, blah, blah, blah. I just said that that's nice, and, well, let me know where to send the divorce papers. He was shocked. He told me before that his dad cheated on his mom, but she was able to forgive him. He must have expected me to do the same. Since then, I've only communicated with him about the girls. He is running in circles trying to get me to react to anything he says. I give him nothing. He's begged me just to talk to him. I said that there's nothing to talk about. My mother-in-law confronted me outside of the gymnastics gym. I was going to hand the girls off to her so they could spend time with their dad. My mother-in-law told me that she was very disappointed in the way that I'm handling all of this, that she expected more maturity from me, and that she hopes it doesn't impact the girls negatively long term. I let her say what she wanted. She is allowed her opinion. But she looked at me, waiting for a response of some kind. So I asked her, why are you directing your anger at me when your son is the one who ended this marriage? She said that I'm the one who's choosing to end the marriage, not him, and that he's willing to work on it and go above and beyond to prove that it was a mistake and all that nonsense. And how it was most shocking how cold I've become that I won't even talk to him. I said, well, what is there even to say? He decided to end the marriage. Time to go to marriage counseling was before he did what he did. There is nothing left to salvage. He made the decision and now lives with the consequences. She was getting herself all worked up and upset, and oh boo-hoo, you feel bad for tearing apart the family type of stuff. Don't you want your daughters to grow up in a stable home? How could you walk away after all this time? She said that she couldn't imagine breaking up her family over something like this. And I said, well, maybe if you had, your son wouldn't think that he can cheat without consequences. You're the one who taught him this. She got that big shocked look on her face and told me that I was being needlessly cruel over this. And oh boo-hoo, that she's disappointed. I'm not keeping the girls from him. I'm being helpful with the arrangements, and I plan to be generous when it comes to splitting time. I have no interest in taking anything that wasn't mine when we entered our marriage, but somehow I'm the cruel monster. How? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, great. Like, this is on OP's husband. He chose to cheat, but at this point in time, with the way mother-in-law was harassing OP and would not back down, I don't blame her for pointing out that, like, you're the one who modeled this for him, you know. And people have complicated reasons for why they do what they do, and his actions are his and his alone. But mother-in-law should not be blaming OP, because OP's absolutely right. Her son is the one who ruined the relationship by breaking his marriage vows. Marriage vows are not something that you can just use when they're convenient. They are a lifetime commitment you're making, and if you choose to break those vows, then you're the one who is ending the relationship, even if you're not the one who initiates the divorce proceedings.
Yeah, so, I have some complicated feelings here. I feel like maybe OP's comment might have been a little step far, but I can also understand where they're coming from here because mother-in-law is basically trying to shame OP for not making the same decision that she made. And I think that's wrong of her, right? I think that she is entitled to make her own decisions. Like, I don't think that she's necessarily wrong for staying in a marriage where she was cheated on, and that if she felt that was the right thing to do, then that's her decision. But I think also she needs to understand that not every person is going to make that same decision, and that OP is entitled to, not stay in a relationship where she was cheated on. And I think that this is really what it boils down to. I understand that she's disappointed, but life is full of disappointments sometimes, and sometimes you just have to deal with it. Again, the person she should be disappointed in is her son who cheated. All right. And that's really kind of where I stand on this whole thing. I just feel like she's missed the mark. She should be talking to her son and being disappointed in him, not OP. And it was all right to kind of approach her and talk to her about the situation and get clarity on it and understand where OP was coming from. But the mother-in-law really went too far by trying to shame OP for breaking up the marriage and stuff like that when it was her son who did it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, a little bit of complicated feelings on this one, but I do think that the mother-in-law is more in the wrong in this case. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What might you call a poet's working hours?
Oh, I would call a poet's working hours non-existent because we all know that poets don't really do any work. And so, I mean, like, I'm just the one, and we're all thinking it. We're all thinking it. I'm just saying it aloud.
We're not all thinking it.
I'm just saying it aloud.
Rhyme time.
Oh, rhyme time? I call it being asleep in a forest surrounded by people wandering off from nature and then claiming you're actually doing work for a year while you're not actually doing anything, Thoreau.
Apparently, Brian has a vendetta against Thoreau. He wasn't even writing poetry. He was writing like journals.
No, he wasn't. I don't care what he was writing. I don't know. I'm just being.
I don't know if he wrote poetry during that time or not, but Walden is not a poetry collection.
Says you. I say it is. It's a work of art.
So it's Take Your Poet to Work Day.
Oh.
Which I think that it was when you're supposed to bring pictures of your favorite poet with you to work. And it's also...
I'm going to go dig up Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, that's not what they mean. And it's also Guinea Pig Appreciation Day.
Ooh. So make sure to appreciate your guinea pigs. If you have them, scream at them for me. Thank you. And I have Mega Mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Wonderful Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
Respect isn't owed, it is earned. You can't be rude and expect kindness.
I like it. I like it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!